Okay, so starting with Ukraine, they went out in the group stage in one of the weirdest ways possible, considering they had the same amount of points as the team that finished first place, but still somehow went out. I don't think Ukraine necessarily had a bad tournament because of this, they really only went out on goal difference. But they did finish last in their group, so for that, I'm going to put them in C for now. Now, Croatia, I honestly think we are quite poor. I understand they've got an aging squad, they're nowhere near as good as what they used to be, and they had a hard group, but they did go out, they didn't win a single game. And again, Albania were in that group, and the fact that 4 of the 6 teams that finished third went through and Croatia still weren't one of them, I do think it is probably a failure. Croatia probably won't be happy with this tournament, so I'm going to put them in D. Now, the Czech Republic also had a hard group, but I don't think they'll be particularly happy. They got 1 point even though Georgia was in their group. They have an alright team, they're not anything amazing, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be very happy. Now, Denmark made the last 16 and went out to Germany 2-0, which on its own is fine. However, they didn't win a single game in their group stage. Actually, they drew all 3 of their games, so Denmark weren't bad, but I don't think they'll be overly amazed with this. I am going to put them in C. Now, Austria done amazing in the group stages, actually topping their group. However, they went out in the round of 16 to Turkey, which will be a bit disappointing. I think if they'd made it past Turkey, I would have put them in A, but because they went out to Turkey, I'm going to put them in B. Germany were pretty brilliant all through the group stage and only went out in the quarter-finals to the team that would eventually win it in Spain. So they were very good. I think they really should have dropped Havertz much earlier in the tournament and started Füllkrug, but I'm still going to put them in A. I think Germany did have a pretty good tournament overall. It doesn't look great because they only made the quarterfinals, but if they'd played basically anyone except Spain, they would have kept going. So here's where things start getting controversial, and it's with England. Now, look, England made the final, but there's no two ways about this. They were dreadful all tournament. They rode their luck and they rode big moments from big players. Now, I can't bring myself to put them in S tier, definitely. But I also can't bring myself to put them in A. They can't go lower than B. They made the final, but they honestly were dreadful all the way up until the final. I'm amazed that they even made it. They should have went out in the round of 16 to Slovakia. The fact they made the final was fair play to them, but they were not anything special. Now, look, France made the semis and actually kind of turned up against Spain, who were by far the best team in the tournament. However, up until that point, they were also pretty dreadful. A lot of the big teams in this tournament were pretty bad, to be honest. They're definitely not making A tier. I don't think they deserve to be as low as C. I'm going to put them in B, but I am going to put them behind England and Austria. I don't think the French will be very happy with the way this tournament went. Okay, next up is Serbia, and I'm going to put Serbia in D. This was my dark horse team. I think they will be very, very, very unhappy with the way their tournament went. Yeah, they were in a group with England and Denmark, but as we've previously discussed, both England and Denmark weren't very good. And Serbia didn't win a single game, so they will not be happy with this. Now, look, Hungary is a weird one because, yeah, they'll be pretty happy with the fact that they won a game, so for that I kind of want to put them in C. But they got very, very, very lucky in that game and they were pretty dreadful against Germany and the Swiss. So I'm really torn between these two. I'm going to put them in D, but I'm going to put them in the high end of, I don't know, maybe C. We'll put them in low C tier for now. So Italy's another one that's going to go in C tier. I'm only putting them in here because they actually made it through. They were dreadful in the last 16 against Switzerland. They had a hard group with Croatia and Spain. However, Albania was the only team they beat, but it's not anything special, to be honest. The Italians put up a pretty limp-wristed defence from Euro 2020. Hopefully they bounce back at the next World Cup, but they were not great. Now, Georgia, in terms of how they done, Georgia, realistically, we should be putting them around about high C, low B, but their fans will want to be up here. the fact they made it through the group and only went out to the eventual winner Spain was pretty fantastic. I'm going to put Georgia in the low end of the B tier for the fact they made it through with the team they have. Now the Dutch is another weird one. I actually think the Dutch did pretty well results wise. Their performances weren't too bad. They had some interesting group games, and I don't think they should have went out to England. I thought they were the better team than England. They were really unlucky with the penalty that they got, so I'm going to put them in A tier. Poland were another team that were, I'm sorry, dreadful. I get Lewandowski was injured, but Poland actually have a decent squad, and to finish bottom of their group, go straight out, yeah, they had a very hard group. I will give them that. Maybe they should go above, you know, the Czech Republic and Serbia, but they won't be happy. They didn't perform well. Portugal's another one. I'm going to give them low end of the B tier. Look, they went out in the round of 16 only on penalties to France. They would have went out to Spain in the next round anyway. They were really poor. They shot themselves in the foot big time by refusing to drop Ronaldo. And yeah, look, they lost to Georgia, but they were pretty much already through when they lost to Georgia. I think if they had beat Georgia, if it didn't take them to extra time to beat Slovenia and then they'd went out to France, I think people would be more comfortable putting them in B tier. So I think if we're going to give England some credit for being pretty crap but getting the results done, we kind of have to do the same for the Netherlands, France and Portugal. Romania, I'm going to put in the highest part of C tier that you can go. The fact that they topped their group, yeah, they had the same amount of points as the team that finished last, but the fact that they topped their group was pretty amazing given the team that they have. And yeah, they got battered in the last 16 by the Netherlands, but hey, they won't mind. As far as they're concerned, that was a great tournament. Okay, next we have Belgium, and I'm going to put them next to Italy in C tier. Like, they were equally atrocious. They only won one game out of their group that included Romania, Slovakia and Ukraine, and went out in the round of 16 to France. The Belgium team is nowhere near as good as what it was in recent years, but it is still a decent side. But yeah, Belgium, I can't bring myself to put them any higher. Okay, now Scotland. Look, I'm going to try and not be overly biased with Scotland, but I am going to put them in C, and I'm going to put them above Hungary. I know we went out, I know Hungary beat us, and I know we get battered off of Germany. However, we were really unlucky not to beat the Swiss, and even unluckier not to get something from the Hungary game. We should have been given a penalty, and Hungary scored with the last kick of the game. I think if the game was fair, Scotland would have won that and had a chance at going through. So, no disrespect to Hungary, but as a Scotland fan, I know there's going to be some very conflicting feelings. Some people are really not happy with the way the tournament went, some people are. I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as we're making it out to be. Next up is Switzerland, and I'm going to put them above France, but below Austria. The Swiss were okay in the group stages, but they done brilliantly to knock out Italy in the round of 16, and they were very unlucky not to put England out. So yeah, fair play to the Swiss, they done brilliant this tournament. Slovakia's another one. I'm going to put them above Scotland but below Italy and Belgium. They went through from their group in third, but again, same amount of points as everyone else in their group, and they were so unlucky not to put England out. They were so unlucky. Yeah, if they had put England out, I'd be like comfortably putting them like in B tier, and with like part of my heart wanting to put them in S, but we need to try and be fair, and I think that is kind of a fair representation. So Slovenia finished third in the group that had England, Denmark and Serbia. They also drew all 3 games, and they were unlucky to go out to Portugal on penalties, despite the fact that they didn't score a single penalty. But they didn't have an amazing team. I think Slovenia will be pretty happy with the way things went. I'm gonna put them below Slovakia. Our third last option is pretty easy with Spain. They were the best team in the tournament, they won the tournament, they were a great watch, they were the top scorers. It really was a good tournament for Spain, and you have to just hold your hands up to them and say fair enough. Albania is a weird one. They're going to be happy with how they played, but they did finish last in their group and only had 1 point. However, they were one of the, on paper, worst squads at the tournament. I'm going to put them below Croatia, because Croatia literally finished above them, but above Poland, the Czech Republic and Serbia. I think the Albanians will be happy, if not a bit disappointed, because they did play really well in their group games, but they got very little for it. And last but not least, Turkey, and I'm going to put them above France Everyone who said they were dark horses at Euro 2020 might have actually been proven right at Euro 24. But yeah, this is my tier list for how I think everyone will be feeling after Euro 24, how happy the fan bases should be based alongside how some of their performances went. Maybe being a bit harsh on some teams here, maybe being a bit generous to some other teams there, but I'm sure you guys will all let me know in the comments. Bit of a shorter video this time, but I'll catch everyone in the next.